What the heck is going on, football fans? DF Stu here, and today I'm going to be bringing you my Week 10 DraftKings That's My Guy video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the winning lineup from the tournament that I play in every Sunday. We're going to be taking a look at my best roster from that tournament. We're going to take a look at the totals for this coming week, and then we're going to pick our 5 guys that we're going to be targeting on DraftKings this week. As always, the subscriptions, the likes, the comments, they go so far to help me grow this channel. Congratulations to the $100,000 winner with this 235.6 point lineup. This player really didn't have any crazy approach to their game. They just looked at Carolina and Kansas City as a very potentially high scoring game. So they took Teddy, they took Curtis Samuel, and they took McCaffrey from that Carolina side, and they took Tyreek Hill on the other side to run it back. The craziest thing about this lineup to me is the fact that they had Tony Pollard in there at only 6.8 points. This lineup could have been way bigger. The key at running back this week really was to just have Dalvin Cook and Christian McCaffrey. Almost everybody else that had projected to be having a good game just simply didn't put up the fantasy points. And here was my best lineup for the week. Unfortunately, I didn't have McCaffrey in this lineup, but I still had Jerry Jeudy, Dalvin Cook, Kyler Murray, Christian Kirk, and John Brown, who had pretty good games to salvage my week of fantasy. This was a tough week for me because I was super high on Tyler Lockett. Unfortunately, he just didn't produce. I ended up being a little bit up on the week, but not nearly as up as I could have been if he had gone off. As always, I want to check the projected over and unders to make sure that I'm targeting players from games that are supposed to produce a lot of points. The first game that's going to pop out to me is the Houston and Cleveland game, set at an over-under of 54.5. The next game is the Jacksonville-Green Bay game, same over-under. This Tampa Bay-Carolina game is actually trending their over-under up a little bit. I checked that on another site earlier in the day. The Denver-Las Vegas game is another one. The Buffalo-Arizona game, that's another one. That's especially a game I'm liking this week. And same with this Seattle-Los Angeles game. I'm really enjoying that game from a fantasy perspective. And then we've got the Saints and 49ers game. With my first That's My Guy pick for this week, I'm going to go with the quarterback, Jared Goff. Usually I don't really care for Jared Goff as a fantasy quarterback, but he's got a freaking juicy matchup this week against the Seahawks, and his wide receivers, they're not priced nearly as high as they should be, in my opinion. Josh Reynolds is a guy that I think is going to be super easy to pair with Jared Goff plus the receiver. Looking at his last 2 games, he had 9 targets and 8 targets. That's exactly what you want to see from a player that's priced this lowly. But I'm going to have to go with Robert Woods as that's my guy for this pick. I'm going with Robert Woods in this spot simply because, well, I want to attack that Seattle defense, just like with Jared Goff. He's had multiple 20-plus point fantasy point weeks, and he's consistently getting targets. The team tries to find ways to get balls in his hands. He's just a good pick. There's absolutely nothing wrong with going with Cooper Kupp in this situation. As a matter of fact, I'm going to probably have half my lineups with Robert Woods and half my lineups with Cooper Kupp. And then Josh Reynolds makes for a great pair with the two of them, plus a quarterback. And then on the other side of things, to run with a Seattle wide receiver, I think that's a great stack this week. For my next pick, I'm going to head back over to the running back position, and I'm going to go with Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds was the 4th highest owned running back on DraftKings last week, and it made a lot of sense to pick him. He had been playing great all year long with Kenyon Drake as the primary running back. Chase Edmonds had been seeing the third down work and a lot of the passing work. Now he was in a position where he was going to get all of the work, all the passing work, all the running work. And he just didn't get the ball from a passing perspective a lot. I mean, he ran the ball 25 times. He didn't hit the 100-yard mark, so he didn't get those extra 3 points. He didn't get a touchdown, so that 11.8 fantasy points, it looks rough. The volume, however, was there for Chase Edmonds. I'm banking on the fact that he will see volume again next week, and many owners will be off of Chase Edmonds after getting a little bit upset with his performance from last week. Before moving on to my tight end pick, I did want to make 2 more quick points at the running back position. First of which, Christian McCaffrey came back last week. He was awesome. Hurt his shoulder on one of the last plays of the game. Mike Davis priced at only 4,000. That's going to be huge if Christian McCaffrey doesn't play. Getting a starting running back who has already proven his ability this year at only 4,000, everybody's going to be on him. Just watch out. The other thing I wanted to note is that Nick Chubb should be coming back from injury this week. He will split some time with Kareem Hunt, of course, but last week Christian McCaffrey came back, only 6% owned, huge game. Week before that, Dalvin Cook comes back from an injury, huge game. Not a lot of people played him. This might be a smash spot. Just pay attention. Oh, and Houston's run defense, well, it sucks. So, an easy target. At tight end this week, we're going to go with more of a punt approach. We're going to go all the way down to 2,900, and we're going to select Jordan Akins. I'm liking Jordan Akins in this spot because, well, he was Houston's primary tight end before going down with an injury in week 4. I think that he was a little bit eased back into his role last week, and he should see even more snaps and routes next week. He was a guy that Deshaun Watson was enjoying targeting in the beginning of the year, mostly in that Baltimore game, but he's a big-bodied tight end that can catch some passes in the end zone. Also, with this Houston and Cleveland game projecting to be pretty high scoring, I'd like to try to grab a piece of this game. For defense this week, we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and we're going to go with the Bengals against Pittsburgh. The Bengals are coming off of a bye, and it's looking like Big Ben might be out this week. We need to keep up on the news so we know if that's actually a good play or not, because if Ben is playing, I will not be playing the Bengals defense. I will probably be actually just going up $100 and going with the Rams. The Rams could force some turnovers against Seattle. At only $2,200, the Rams defense, Aaron Donald, is priced way too low. Well, those are my guys for the week. Jared Goff, Chase Edmonds, Robert Woods, Jordan Akins, and the Bengals defense. This will leave us with $25,600 for the last 4 positions on this team. That's a lot of money to make sure that we get some real good players here. I hope this video gets you thinking in the right direction about the Week 10 NFL DraftKings main slate. I'll be back with another video later in the week where we're going to be taking my 5 guys from this video and we're going to try to create 2 or 3 different lineups using those players. Feel free to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss my next video, or maybe you want to hit that like button or leave me a comment. What do you got to say to me this week? Let's go. Let's win, boys. But until next time, DF Stu. Out.